Welcome to Gracious Defender Studios. Here you'll find inspiring stories, history, and many more. Join me on this exciting journey. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Let's make this space fun and inspiring together. Kwame Nkrumah, The Story of Neo-Colonialism, The Last Stage of Imperialism. Chapter 1. The Chains They Could Not See. Long ago, many African nations were under colonial rule. Powerful countries from across the seas came, took land, resources, and power, and controlled the people. But one day, the African people stood up. They wanted their freedom. Brave leaders like Kwame Nkrumah fought for independence, and soon many countries were free. But something strange happened. Even though the flags changed, and the rulers now looked like the people, the struggles didn't end. Why were African nations still poor? Why were their lands still being taken? Why did other countries still have so much control? Kwame Nkrumah looked closer and discovered the answer: Neo-Colonialism. Chapter 2. What is Neo-Colonialism? Neo-colonialism was like a clever trick. Instead of directly ruling African countries, rich nations found new ways to keep control. They set up big companies in Africa and took the gold, oil, and cocoa. They gave loans that seemed helpful but kept African nations in debt. They controlled trade, making Africa sell raw materials cheaply and buy finished goods at high prices. They influenced leaders, sometimes even replacing them with people who would follow their orders. It was like a puppet show. On the outside, African countries looked independent. But behind the scenes, powerful countries were pulling the strings. Chapter 3. The Divide and Rule Game. Kwame Nkrumah also saw that neo-colonialists used division as a weapon. They encouraged fights between countries, tribes, and leaders so that African nations couldn't unite. If we are not united, Nkrumah said, we will be weak. But if we come together, we will be strong enough to stand against the neo-colonialists. This is why he dreamed of a United States of Africa, where all nations would work together. Chapter 4. The Cost of Dependency. Neo-colonialism kept Africa dependent. Rich countries gave aid, but it came with strings attached. They built factories, but the profits went back to them. They signed agreements that looked fair but were one-sided. Nkrumah said, the one who feeds you controls you. If Africa wanted true freedom, it had to break free from this system. Chapter 5. The Road to Liberation. Kwame Nkrumah believed Africa could defeat neo-colonialism by 1. Owning its resources, gold, diamonds, and oil belonged to the people, not foreign companies. 2. Building its industries. Instead of selling raw materials, Africa could make its own products. 3. Standing together. Unity was the shield against division and exploitation. 4. Rejecting bad deals. African leaders had to put their people first, not the interests of foreign nations. He worked tirelessly to spread this message, writing books and giving speeches to wake the world up. Chapter 6. The Legacy of Nkrumah. Kwame Nkrumah faced many challenges. Some leaders didn't agree with his vision. Neo-colonialists worked hard to stop him. But his ideas didn't die. Today, people still read his words and learn from his wisdom. His book, Neo-Colonialism, The Last Stage of Imperialism, reminds us that freedom is not just about independence. It's about controlling our own destiny. As Nkrumah said, Africa must unite. The end, but the journey continues. This is the story of Kwame Nkrumah and his fight against neo-colonialism. It's a story about courage, wisdom, and hope. And though Nkrumah is no longer here, his dream lives on in everyone who believes in a free and united Africa.